Yo, what's going on guys? This is Kickback here with another Animal Jam video, and in today's video guys, we're going over features that I think should be added onto Animal Jam Classic that originate over from Animal Jam Play Wild. Before I do get into that though, I just want to talk about today's video giveaway, which is for a silver headdress. All you need to do is go to the video link in the description below and follow further instructions over there. But without further ado, let's get right into it. As for the first feature I think should be brought over is renaming animals. Now, this isn't really that big of a deal for a lot of people, but obviously when you do buy a new animal on Animal Jam, you do have to choose a name, and once you do choose that name, you're kind of stuck with it unless you want to buy the animal over again and configure a new name. However, on Animal Jam Play Wild, you can turn into any animal, and when you actually open your inventory, it does give you the option to change your animal name when you click your name badge, and I believe this should be a feature that could be pretty beneficial to a lot of people on Animal Jam Classic, especially if you want to keep your animal names to the kind of same name. I do that. All my animals are called Sir Shy Eyes, but the problem with this is obviously before I chose this name, I did have like a bunch of animals I just had to recycle essentially because I chose this new name and the previous animals didn't have it. On Play Wild, I'm pretty sure it's like 5 sapphires or something to change an animal name, and like I guess the same kind of form of sapphires on Animal Jam Classic would be diamonds, so maybe a couple diamonds would be a kind of fair trade-off for something like that. Next up here, I am really hoping that they do this eventually someday. They've technically already done this before, but it was only for an event, and this is day and night cycles. So all the way back in, I believe 2017, around that time, Animal Jam did an eclipse event for, I believe, Jamal Township, Lost Temple of Zios, and Apondale. I'm not too sure if the other lands had it as well, but I know for sure these 3 lands definitely had it. These lands were all in nighttime, and the kind of atmosphere of the lands entirely had changed, and it was a lot darker, but like it had lights shining out, if that makes any sense, and it just looked very aesthetic and pleasing to the eye in my opinion anyway. And something like this I think a lot of people would love, especially with the update that just came to Animal Jam Play Wild. They just recently added day and night cycles, and a lot of people love it, and I think it would be in the best interest for them to add it over onto Animal Jam Classic as well. I think a lot of people would like it, and they really wouldn't have to do much work because they already have 3 lands already in nighttime, and they have them in the file still, and they could just make it so it kind of changes based on your time. And I guess for areas like Serapia Forest, it doesn't really show a lot of light, so I don't think they would really have to change this land a whole lot, so that is also something to consider. The next feature I think it should be added would be login rewards. So over on Animal Jam Play Wild, you do get your daily spin that's similar to Animal Jam Classic. We already have that. However, they get an additional login reward system that if you consistently keep logging in every day, you get prizes for actually logging in. And I think this would be very beneficial to a lot of Animal Jam Classic players to actually give them incentives to actually log in, because if we don't know already, Animal Jam Classic is kind of going down the hill, and a lot of people are logging in a lot less than they typically would be. And giving incentives like this would, I think, give a lot of people more reason to log in and play. And like, even if they don't log in for every day and they miss out on certain items or something that could be given out in these login rewards, they could then trade for them, and you know, there you go, you got something that's worth some kind of value, and might even give a more incentive for people to actually log in every day, because then they know they could get something to trade later on for having it. Now, the next feature here, just following up on trading here, is trading slots. Now on Animal Jam Play Wild, I believe they have 24 trading slots, which is a 4 additional more than we have on Animal Jam Classic. We only have 20 slots, which I think those 4 slots could make a lot of a difference, especially when doing large trades. However, they also have their own kind of trading system on Play Wild. So when you actually submit a trade request to someone, you get brought into this screen here that you can pretty much chat to the other person that you are trading to kind of work out the trade and not have to kind of clog the chat in the land you're in for everybody else. And I think this would also be pretty good for Animal Jam Classic, especially when the rare economy and trading is quite different to it is on Animal Jam Play Wild, and a lot of people are quite picky when it comes to trading some bigger items and what they're exactly looking for. So this could be pretty good in the long term of things. Now the next feature here, we are talking about in-game screenshotter. Now this is a kind of camera feature, I believe it's called, on Animal Jam Play Wild. It pretty much brings up a camera menu that you can take a picture of your animal and save it in a photo gallery, and and I'm surprised this was never added to actually Animal Jam Classic, because Animal Jam selfies are a pretty popular thing over on social media, especially on Instagram. And I mean, technically we already have this, but this is in like the kind of Animal Jam art style in the player card, like right here, and it really isn't what it could be, and like you could screenshot just right here me sitting down or something. And the reason I specifically say in-game and not just use a third-party screenshotter service or program that's already built into your computer is because on the Animal Jam desktop app they have a much lower quality than it was on the Animal Jam browser. If that makes any sense, on browser, when you could play on browser, you could zoom in, so the quality around you of certain assets would actually enhance because they were higher quality than other things. So I think something like this would be very appreciated by a lot of the Instagram community, especially those that do take Animal Jam selfies very often. Next up here, animal hideouts. Now I think this would just be a pretty cool thing, and typically it's something they could actually do. Like even just here, there's an Arctic Fox symbol. They could really just take away this art easel and just put a hideout there so only Arctic foxes can go into. I know we have, you know, animal only parties, but like they're rarely on, and you usually have to wait a long amount of times for these to actually occur. And like they could easily just slot in stores into these hideouts that actually base around the animal. So imagine for the Arctic Fox, you get Arctic Fox furniture or something like that in here, or Arctic Fox banners or Arctic Fox plushies that you can buy or win from a claw machine in there, similar to how it is in some animal only parties. Now the last one here, finishing us up here, this is more wishful thinking than anything. This is the least possible thing I think will be added to the game rather than everything else on this list, and this is Maku Ahai. This is a land exclusive essentially to Animal Jam Play-A-While that we don't have on Animal Jam Classic. And when this was first added, I was actually really surprised that they kind of went off the grid, which what they usually use is just Animal Jam Classic assets, and they usually get inspiration from Animal Jam Classic, and they went totally a different direction here and used a whole new land and concept for Animal Jam Play-A-While that has never been seen before on Animal Jam Classic. However, I think a new land would excite a lot of people in the community, as well as players, and additionally older players as well. You know, we haven't gotten a new land since Belush, and even then a lot of people kind of forgot about it because it didn't really have much to go on there. However, with Maku Ahai, you got Lailani going on there, giving trades for rare items every week. You got stores and everything, and you also got water slides. And I think it would be pretty cool to see a 3D land that we've only seen in 3D, and see how Animal Jam Classic kind of adapts to that in the 2D art style. But yeah guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video here. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you guys do want to be notified on future videos, as well as videos just like this one. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video, and let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. What kind of features do you want to see on Animal Jam Classic, even if they're not from Animal Jam Play-A-While? I'm excited to see what you guys think, and I will catch you guys in the next one.